Stop everything you're doing and listen with the intensity of someone who has decided to never struggle again. If you truly absorb what I'm about to say, you'll attract more money than you can spend. And it won't surprise you, it won't confuse you, it won't intimidate you. You wake up every morning telling yourself you are grateful for what you have, and you are. But late at night, while you count the bills, you calculate the possibilities, and you wonder why money seems to flow so easily to others while you work harder than most, yet still feel like you are chasing crumbs. You have convinced yourself that wanting more makes you greedy, that desiring wealth makes you shallow. But I am here to shatter that lie. Your desire for abundance is not a character flaw. It is the voice of your potential calling you to step into the person you were meant to become. Today, you will discover why money has been avoiding you, and more importantly, how to train your mind to expect wealth as naturally as you expect the sun to rise. This is not about positive thinking or wishful dreaming. This is about transforming yourself from someone who hopes for money into someone who commands it, from someone who needs wealth into someone who wealth needs. Most people live their entire lives as financial beggars, unconsciously repelling the very thing they claim to want. But you are about to learn the precise mental laws that govern the flow of money and how to align yourself with forces so powerful that abundance will have no choice but to surrender to you. This knowledge has created more millionaires than any other teaching in history. It will work for you only if you are ready to abandon who you have been and embrace who you must become. The person listening to these words right now is about to disappear, replaced by someone whose relationship with money is so fundamentally different that your old financial struggles will feel like a distant memory. If you are ready for this transformation, if you are tired of settling for less than you deserve, then subscribe to this channel right now, because what you are about to learn will change everything, and you will want to return to these principles again and again until they become as natural to you as breathing. Number 1, the spiritual law of money. You have been taught the most destructive lie about money that has ever been whispered into human consciousness. You have been told that if you work harder, sacrifice more, and prove your worthiness through suffering, money will eventually reward your efforts. This is not just wrong. It is the very belief that keeps you trapped in financial mediocrity. Money operates by a spiritual law as precise and unforgiving as gravity. Drop a stone, and it falls. Think abundantly with unwavering certainty, and money flows. Think scarcely, doubt your worth, or beg the universe for what you need, and money will avoid you like a plague. This is not philosophy. This is law. Consider the rain. It does not fall because the earth deserves it, pleads for it, or works hard to earn it. Rain falls because atmospheric conditions align perfectly with natural law. Money obeys the same principle. It responds not to your effort, not to your need, and certainly not to your desperation. Money responds only to a mind that expects it as naturally and confidently as you expect your heart to beat. I once observed 2 men who worked in the same factory side by side for 20 years. One man arrived each morning grateful for his wages, but secretly resentful that others had more. He counted every penny, feared every expense, and constantly worried about having enough. The other man performed the same work but carried himself as if he were already wealthy. He spoke of money as a friend, expected opportunities to appear, and never doubted that abundance was his natural state. The first man retired with modest savings and a lifetime of anxiety. The second man left that factory to build an empire that eventually employed hundreds. The difference was not in their circumstances, their education, or even their actions. The difference was in the spiritual frequency of their relationship with money. One man lived in the energy of lack. The other lived in the energy of abundance. Money, being energy itself, was drawn to the one who matched its vibration. Here is what you must understand. Your subconscious mind is the most powerful creative force at your disposal, but it cannot distinguish between what you fear and what you desire. It only responds to what you feel most deeply and think most consistently. If you think about money with anxiety, limitation, or doubt, your subconscious creates more reasons to feel anxious, limited, and doubtful. If you think about money with expectancy, gratitude, and unshakable certainty, your subconscious mind begins to orchestrate circumstances that validate that expectancy. This is why affirmations fail for most people. They speak words of abundance while their hearts vibrate with fear. They declare prosperity while their minds rehearse poverty. The subconscious feels the contradiction and creates chaos instead of clarity. You must train your mind to expect money not as a hope, not as a possibility, but as an absolute certainty. When you wake each morning, your first thought should not be about what you lack, but about the wealth that is already flowing toward you. When you see others prosper, your automatic response should not be envy, but recognition that their success proves abundance is available to all who align with its laws. Money is not moved by your tears, impressed by your struggle, or convinced by your arguments. Money is attracted to minds that welcome it without apology, expect it without doubt, and handle it without fear. This is the spiritual law. This is the only law that matters. Most people live their entire lives fighting against this law, wondering why their good intentions and hard work never translate into financial freedom. They pray for money while simultaneously pushing it away with their thoughts. They work overtime while believing they are not worthy of wealth. They save pennies while thinking like paupers. But when you align your consciousness with the spiritual law of money, when you expect abundance as confidently as you expect tomorrow's sunrise, something magnificent happens. Opportunities that were always there suddenly become visible. People who can help you mysteriously appear. Ideas that can generate wealth begin flowing through your mind like a river that has found its natural course. This is not magic. This is law. Your thoughts are creative forces, and your expectations are magnetic powers. When you truly, deeply, unshakably expect money to come to you, you begin to act, speak, and carry yourself in ways that attract money. Your confidence becomes contagious. Your certainty becomes compelling. Your expectancy becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Do not mistake this for passive wishing or lazy dreaming. This law requires absolute mental discipline. Every thought of lack must be immediately replaced with thoughts of abundance. Every feeling of fear must be instantly countered with feelings of expectancy. Every doubt must be dissolved in the acid of unwavering faith. Accept this spiritual law, live by it, breathe it, become it, and wealth becomes not just possible but inevitable. Resist it, fight it, or ignore it, and poverty becomes your permanent companion, no matter how hard you work or how desperately you pray. Number 2, fear of poverty as the greatest enemy. There is a ghost that follows you everywhere you go, whispering poison into your ear every time you dare to dream of financial freedom. This ghost has no substance, no real power, yet it has destroyed more dreams and buried more fortunes than any economic crash or natural disaster ever could. This ghost is your fear of poverty, and it is the single greatest enemy standing between you and the wealth you desire. You do not have to be homeless or hungry for this fear to control your life. It shows up in subtler, more insidious ways. It appears when you hesitate before making an investment because you might lose money. It emerges when you stay in a job you hate because it feels safe. It manifests when you price your services too low because you are afraid no one will pay what you are truly worth. Fear of poverty is not just an emotion. It is a creative force that actively repels wealth from your life. When you operate from this fear, you emit a frequency of lack that money cannot penetrate. You make decisions based on what you might lose rather than what you could gain. You focus on protecting what little you have instead of expanding into what you could create. This fear transforms you into someone money cannot trust. It makes you indecisive when boldness is required, pessimistic when optimism is essential, and dependent when independence is the price of prosperity. Even when you take the right actions, even when you follow the correct strategies, this underlying frequency of fear sabotages your efforts from within. I have witnessed brilliant minds and talented individuals remain trapped in financial mediocrity not because they lacked ability, but because they carried this invisible fear like a weight around their necks. They would start businesses only to abandon them at the first sign of challenge. They would pursue opportunities only to retreat when success seemed within reach. They would speak of abundance while their hearts beat with the rhythm of scarcity. The fear of poverty feeds on uncertainty, grows in isolation, and thrives in environments where scarcity thinking is normalized. It is nourished by every conversation about how hard life is, every news report about economic struggle, every person who tells you to be realistic about your financial dreams. The more you expose yourself to these influences, the stronger this fear becomes. But here is what this fear does not want you to know. It has no power except what you give it. It cannot survive in the presence of bold action, definite plans, and unwavering commitment to your financial goals. When you move forward despite the fear, when you take decisive action in the face of uncertainty, when you bet on yourself when others will not, this fear begins to dissolve like morning mist before the rising sun. The antidote to fear of poverty is not positive thinking or wishful hoping. The antidote is consistent, repeated exposure to abundance consciousness until prosperity feels more natural than lack. You must flood your mind with thoughts of wealth, surround yourself with people who think abundantly, and take actions that align with abundance rather than scarcity. Read about successful people until their mindset becomes familiar to you. Study prosperity until you understand its laws, as well as you understand the alphabet. Associate with individuals who are moving toward wealth rather than those who are resigned to limitation. Every day, every hour, every moment, you must choose abundance consciousness over poverty consciousness. When fear whispers that you cannot afford something, immediately ask yourself what you cannot afford not to do. When fear suggests that opportunity is too risky, remind yourself that poverty is the greatest risk of all. When fear tries to convince you to play it safe, remember that the only safety in this world comes from your ability to create value and generate wealth. This is not a battle you fight once and win forever. This is a daily discipline, a moment-by-moment choice, a conscious decision to feed courage and starve fear until courage becomes your natural state. Fear of poverty has stolen enough dreams, destroyed enough fortunes, and wasted enough lives. Do not let it claim yours. Number 3, a definite chief aim. You wonder why your financial life feels like a ship without a compass, drifting from one temporary solution to another, never quite reaching the prosperity you know you deserve. The answer is brutally simple. You have never created a definite chief aim for your wealth. You have wishes, hopes, and vague desires, but you have never crystallized your financial future into a burning, specific, irresistible goal that commands your complete devotion. Most people approach money the way they approach everything else in life, with casual interest and half-hearted effort. They say they want to be wealthy, but they cannot tell you exactly how much wealth they desire, by what date they intend to possess it, or what specific service they will render in exchange for it. This is not a goal. This is a daydream, and daydreams never built fortunes. A definite chief aim is not a wish list or a fantasy. It is a precisely written, emotionally charged, time-bound contract between you and the universe. It specifies exactly how much money you will accumulate, exactly when you will possess it, and exactly what you will give in return. It transforms vague longing into definite purpose, scattered energy into focused power, and someday dreams into today's reality. The moment you commit your financial goal to writing with absolute specificity, something powerful happens in your subconscious mind. The goal stops being something you want and becomes something you expect. Your mind begins to seek opportunities that align with this expectation. Your awareness becomes attuned to possibilities that were always there but previously invisible to you. I once knew a man who worked as a clerk in a small hardware store, earning barely enough to support his family. For years he had dreamed of owning his own business, but his dreams remained as shapeless as clouds. Then one day, he wrote down his definite chief aim. He would own a chain of hardware stores generating $1 million in annual revenue within 10 years. He would achieve this by providing superior service and building relationships with contractors throughout the region. This written goal ignited something within him that all his previous wishing had failed to create. He began studying every aspect of the hardware business with the intensity of a student preparing for the most important exam of his life. He observed successful store owners, learned about inventory management, and developed relationships with suppliers. Within 2 years, he had saved enough money to purchase his first store. Within 10 years, he owned 7 locations and surpassed his original goal. The power was not in the writing itself. The power was in the specificity, the emotion, and the unwavering commitment that specificity created. When your goal is vague, your efforts will be vague. When your goal is specific, your efforts become focused, purposeful, and irresistibly effective. But here is the element that most people miss. Your definite chief aim must be fueled by burning desire, not casual interest. It must excite you, inspire you, and even frighten you a little with its audacity. If your goal does not make you slightly uncomfortable, it is not big enough to transform your life. If it does not require you to become a different person to achieve it, it will not create the growth that lasting wealth demands. This burning desire becomes the fuel that powers every action, sustains every effort, and overcomes every obstacle. It transforms work into worship, challenges into stepping stones, and temporary defeats into valuable lessons. When desire burns hot enough, it melts all resistance and makes the impossible inevitable. Your definite chief aim must also specify exactly what you will give in return for the wealth you seek. The universe operates on the law of compensation. Nothing is ever gained without something being given. You must determine what service you will render, what value you will create, what problem you will solve in exchange for the money you desire. This is not negotiable. Money flows to those who serve, not to those who simply want. Your service becomes the bridge between your current reality and your financial goal. The more valuable your service, the more money will flow toward you. The more people you serve, the faster that money will come. Write your definite chief aim today. Make it specific. Make it emotional. Make it so compelling that it pulls you toward it like a magnet pulls iron. Read it every morning and every night until it becomes more real to you than your current circumstances. Let it reshape your thoughts, redirect your actions, and redesign your destiny. This is not just a goal. This is your financial rebirth certificate. Number 4, autosuggestion and reprogramming. Your mind has been programmed for poverty, and you do not even know it. Every day, from the moment you wake until the moment you sleep, you speak to yourself in a language of limitation. You tell yourself you cannot afford things. You remind yourself how hard money is to make. You recite stories of struggle as if they were sacred scriptures. This internal dialogue is not just harmless self-talk. It is the programming that creates your financial reality. Your subconscious mind is the most powerful force at your disposal, but it operates without conscious judgment. It accepts whatever you feed it most consistently and emotionally as absolute truth. If you consistently tell it that money is scarce, it will create circumstances that prove money is scarce. If you consistently declare that you are wealthy, it will orchestrate events that validate your wealth. Most people use autosuggestion accidentally and destructively. They affirm their limitations thousands of times per day without realizing they are programming themselves for failure. Every time you say you cannot afford something, every time you complain about being broke, every time you speak of money as if it were your enemy, you are using autosuggestion to strengthen poverty consciousness in your subconscious mind. But when you understand this principle and apply it deliberately, you possess the key to unlock unlimited wealth. Autosuggestion is the bridge between your conscious desire for money and your subconscious acceptance of money. It is the tool that transforms temporary thoughts into permanent beliefs and permanent beliefs into physical reality. The process is deceptively simple, yet profoundly powerful. You must create affirmations that declare your wealth as if it already exists, and you must repeat these affirmations with such emotional intensity and vivid visualization that your subconscious mind accepts them as fact. But here is where most people fail. They speak these affirmations with their lips while their hearts doubt every word. Emotion is the secret ingredient that makes autosuggestion effective. Words without emotion are like seeds without water. They will never take root in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. When you affirm your wealth, you must feel the excitement of already possessing it. When you declare your prosperity, you must experience the gratitude of already living it. When you speak of your abundance, you must vibrate with the confidence of already being it. I have observed countless individuals transform their financial lives through the disciplined practice of emotionally charged autosuggestion. They begin each day by declaring their wealth with such conviction that their subconscious mind has no choice but to accept it as reality. They visualize their abundant life with such vivid detail that their imagination becomes more real than their current circumstances. Visualization is autosuggestion's most powerful companion. When you see yourself living in wealth, driving the car you desire, living in the home you love, wearing the clothes that make you feel successful, your subconscious mind begins to accept these images as memories of experiences you have already had. It then works tirelessly to make your external world match these internal images. But you must be specific in your visualizations. See the exact amount of money in your bank account. Feel the specific texture of the steering wheel in your dream car. Smell the particular scent of success in your ideal office. The more detailed your mental images, the more compelling they become to your subconscious mind, and the faster they manifest in your physical world. The repetition must be relentless and systematic. Every morning upon waking, before your conscious mind fills with the day's distractions, repeat your wealth affirmations with passionate emotion. Every night before sleeping, when your subconscious mind is most receptive, visualize your abundant life with crystal clarity. Throughout the day, whenever doubt tries to creep in, immediately counter it with your programmed thoughts of prosperity. This is not a casual practice or a weekend hobby. This is daily mental discipline that requires the same commitment you would give to physical exercise. Just as your body grows stronger through consistent training, your wealth consciousness grows stronger through consistent mental conditioning. Your subconscious mind cannot reject what you repeat with emotion and faith. It will eventually surrender to the persistent pressure of your autosuggestion and begin creating the wealth you consistently claim. But you must be patient with the process while being urgent with the practice. Change happens from the inside out, and internal transformation always precedes external manifestation. Stop programming yourself for poverty and start programming yourself for prosperity. Your financial future is not determined by your past or your current circumstances. It is determined by what you consistently and emotionally feed your subconscious mind. Take control of this process, and you take control of your financial destiny. Number 5, the power of the mastermind. You have been trying to build wealth alone, and that is why you have been failing. You surround yourself with people who think small, dream small, and earn small, then wonder why your own financial growth feels like swimming upstream against an impossible current. You have ignored one of the most powerful forces available to you, a force that has been behind every great fortune and every magnificent achievement in human history, the mastermind. No one has ever created significant wealth in isolation. Behind every millionaire stands a carefully chosen alliance of minds, united in common purpose, focused on common goals, and committed to common success. This is not about networking or casual friendships. This is about the deliberate creation of a third mind, a superior intelligence that emerges when two or more minds work together in perfect harmony toward a definite end. When individual minds unite in harmonious cooperation, something extraordinary happens. The combined intelligence becomes greater than the sum of its parts. Ideas that would never occur to any individual member spontaneously emerge from the group consciousness. Solutions that seemed impossible become obvious. Resources that appeared unavailable suddenly become accessible. Most people underestimate this principle because they confuse a mastermind with a social club or a business meeting. A true mastermind is a sacred alliance where each member commits their mental energy, their best thinking, and their unwavering support to the success of every other member. It is a laboratory where ideas are born, refined, and transformed into profitable action. I once witnessed two struggling entrepreneurs who individually had failed to build successful businesses despite years of effort and considerable talent. When they joined forces in a mastermind alliance, each bringing their unique strengths and perspectives, they created a restaurant empire that generated millions in revenue within 5 years. Neither could have achieved this success alone, but together they became unstoppable. The power of the mastermind operates on both practical and spiritual levels. Practically, it provides access to knowledge, connections, and resources that no individual could possess alone. One member may understand marketing while another excels at finance. One may have connections in manufacturing while another has relationships with investors. Together, they possess collective intelligence that makes them formidable competitors in any market. But the spiritual dimension is even more powerful. When minds unite in harmony around a common purpose, they tap into infinite intelligence, that universal source of all knowledge and all creative power. Ideas flow through the group that seem to come from outside any individual member. Solutions appear that surprise even those who speak them. This is not mysticism. This is the natural result of properly applied mental cooperation. Harmony is the essential element that most people overlook. It is not enough to gather intelligent people around a table. It is not sufficient to have common goals or shared interests. True mastermind power emerges only when there is complete harmony among the members, when every ego is subordinated to the group purpose, when trust is absolute and cooperation is unconditional. Discord destroys mastermind power faster than anything else. A single member who brings jealousy, suspicion, or selfish ambition into the group can poison the entire alliance. This is why you must choose your mastermind partners with extreme care. Character matters more than intelligence. Integrity matters more than connections. Commitment to the group's success must be stronger than individual ego. Your mastermind should meet regularly and consistently. Weekly meetings create momentum. Monthly meetings maintain direction. But sporadic or irregular meetings dissipate the mental energy and weaken the alliance. Each meeting should have a specific agenda focused on problems to be solved, opportunities to be explored, and actions to be taken. Every member must come prepared to contribute their best thinking and to receive the ideas of others with open minds. This is not a place for small talk or casual conversation. This is a laboratory for wealth creation, a workshop for turning dreams into blueprints and blueprints into fortunes. Choose your mastermind partners as carefully as you would choose a spouse, because in many ways this relationship will be even more intimate. You will share your deepest financial fears, your boldest money dreams, and your most ambitious plans. These people will know your strategies, your weaknesses, and your aspirations better than your family. But when you find the right people and create true harmony around common financial goals, you will discover that building wealth becomes easier, faster, and more enjoyable than you ever imagined possible. You will have access to a collective intelligence that can solve any problem, overcome any obstacle, and achieve any goal that any member can conceive. Stop trying to build wealth alone. Start building your mastermind today. Your financial future depends not just on what you know, but on what your alliance knows, and the power you can access together is unlimited. Number 6, becoming before receiving. You want the money before you are ready for the money, and this is precisely why the money will not come. You think wealth is about accumulating dollars, but wealth is about becoming the kind of person who can create, attract, and sustain dollars. The universe does not entrust its riches to unprepared minds any more than it would trust a child with dynamite or a fool with fire. Most people approach wealth backwards. They want to receive first and become later. They want the mansion before they develop the character that built it. They want the business success before they cultivate the discipline that created it. They want the financial freedom before they earn the wisdom that sustains it. This is like wanting the harvest before planting the seeds, expecting the strength before doing the training, demanding the destination before taking the journey. Money is not just currency. Money is energy, and energy always flows toward those who can handle it constructively. When large sums reach individuals who lack the character to manage them wisely, those sums quickly disappear through poor decisions, destructive habits, or simple carelessness. The lottery winners who lose everything within a few years prove this principle with tragic regularity. The person you are today created the financial life you have today. The person you must become will create the financial life you desire. This transformation is not optional if you want lasting wealth. You cannot remain who you are and have what you do not have. You cannot keep thinking the same thoughts, maintaining the same habits, and associating with the same people while expecting dramatically different financial results. Character traits that seem unrelated to money actually determine your capacity to generate and keep wealth. Discipline in small matters prepares you for responsibility in large matters. If you cannot control your spending on minor purchases, you will not be trusted with major financial decisions. If you cannot keep commitments to yourself, you will not inspire confidence in others who might invest in your ventures. Generosity, surprisingly, is one of the most important wealth-building characteristics. People who hoard their modest resources out of fear will never develop the abundance consciousness necessary to attract significant wealth. The universe tests your readiness for more by observing how you handle what you already have. Give freely from your current supply, no matter how small, and you signal your readiness for larger supplies. Clarity of purpose must become as natural to you as breathing. Wealthy people think differently about time, money, relationships, and opportunities. They see possibilities where others see problems. They calculate investments while others count costs. They build systems while others perform tasks. You must train your mind to operate at this higher level of strategic thinking. Your belief system must expand to accommodate wealth. If you secretly believe that money corrupts, that rich people are greedy, or that spiritual people should not desire material prosperity, these beliefs will sabotage every effort you make to build wealth. You cannot rise above the level of your own self-concept. If you do not believe you deserve wealth, you will unconsciously ensure that you never achieve it. I have observed many individuals who suddenly came into money through inheritance, business sales, or unexpected windfalls, only to lose it all within a short time. They had not developed the internal capacity to sustain external abundance. Their old thinking patterns, familiar comfort zones, and limited self-images pulled them back to their previous financial level like gravity pulls a ball back to earth. But I have also witnessed the opposite transformation. People who consciously developed wealth consciousness, who deliberately cultivated the character traits of successful individuals, who systematically expanded their thinking and elevated their standards. When money finally came to these prepared minds, it stayed, grew, and multiplied because it had found a worthy steward. The preparation process requires honest self-examination. What fears would you need to overcome to handle great wealth responsibly? What knowledge would you need to acquire to make wise financial decisions? What habits would you need to develop to sustain abundance? What relationships would you need to change to maintain your wealth consciousness? Study wealthy people not to copy their strategies, but to understand their character. Read their biographies. Observe their decision-making patterns. Analyze their relationship with money. Notice how they think about risk, opportunity, failure, and success. Begin adopting these mental patterns as your own. Start handling your current resources with the same care you would use with millions. Balance your checkbook as meticulously as a bank president. Plan your modest investments as carefully as a portfolio manager. Treat your small business ventures with the same seriousness as a corporate executive. The universe is always watching, always testing, always determining whether you are ready for the next level of responsibility and abundance. Every financial decision you make today is either qualifying or disqualifying you for greater wealth tomorrow. Every choice is either expanding or contracting your capacity to receive. Become first, and receiving becomes inevitable. Remain the same, and your financial life will remain the same. The choice is always yours, but the principle is immutable. Number 7, repetition, the final key. You have learned the principles, understood the concepts, and felt inspired by the possibilities, but nothing will change in your financial life until you embrace the most powerful force in human transformation, repetition. You live in a culture that worships instant results and quick fixes, but wealth consciousness is not built in moments of excitement. It is forged in the quiet discipline of daily practice, repeated so consistently that abundance thinking becomes as automatic as your heartbeat. Most people try these principles once or twice, see no immediate results, and abandon them for the next shiny strategy or magic formula. They read about autosuggestion and try it for a week. They write a definite chief aim and forget about it after a month. They attempt to reprogram their subconscious and give up when their bank account does not transform overnight. This is like planting a seed, watering it once, then digging it up the next day to see why it has not produced fruit. Repetition is the bridge between knowing and being, between temporary inspiration and permanent transformation, between wishful thinking and unshakable wealth consciousness. What you repeat with emotion becomes belief. What you believe becomes reality. This is not philosophy. This is the mechanical law that governs all human achievement. Your subconscious mind learns through repetition the same way your muscles learn through repetition. A single workout does not create physical strength, but consistent daily exercise transforms your body completely. A single affirmation does not create wealth consciousness, but daily mental conditioning transforms your entire relationship with money. The tragedy is that most people are already using repetition powerfully, but they are repeating the wrong thoughts and creating the wrong results. They repeat thoughts of limitation thousands of times per day until limitation becomes their dominant mental attitude. They repeat words of scarcity until scarcity becomes their natural vocabulary. They repeat actions of poverty consciousness until poverty becomes their automatic behavior. But when you consciously harness repetition and direct it toward wealth consciousness, you tap into the same force that creates all lasting success. Every millionaire has repeated thoughts of abundance until abundance thinking became natural. Every successful entrepreneur has repeated beliefs in possibility until possibility became their default expectation. Every wealthy individual has repeated wealthy behaviors until wealth became inevitable. The process requires absolute consistency. You cannot reprogram decades of poverty thinking with occasional positive thoughts any more than you can get physically fit with occasional exercise. Your wealth affirmations must be spoken every morning and every evening with religious devotion. Your visualization of abundance must be practiced daily with the discipline of a professional athlete. Your study of success principles must be as regular as your meals. I have observed individuals transform their entire financial lives through nothing more than the disciplined repetition of wealth consciousness principles. They began each day by reading their definite chief aim until it burned in their minds like a sacred mission. They repeated their money affirmations until their subconscious minds accepted prosperity as normal. They visualized their abundant lives until their imaginations became more real than their circumstances. Weeks passed with no visible change, but they continued. Months passed with little external evidence, but they persisted. Then gradually opportunities began appearing. Ideas started flowing. People who could help them seemed to emerge from nowhere. Resources they needed became available. Their external world slowly but surely began to match their internal programming. This is not coincidence. This is cause and effect. Repetition had transformed their consciousness, and transformed consciousness always transforms circumstances. Their persistent mental conditioning had created magnetic personalities that naturally attracted wealth-building opportunities. Your daily routine must include specific repetition practices. Upon waking, before your mind fills with the day's distractions, spend at least 15 minutes repeating your wealth affirmations with passionate emotion. See yourself already living in abundance. Feel the excitement of financial freedom. Experience the gratitude of unlimited prosperity. Before sleeping, when your subconscious mind is most receptive, repeat this process. End each day by programming your mind for wealth, just as deliberately as you set your alarm clock. Your last thoughts before sleep become the material your subconscious works with throughout the night. Throughout the day, whenever poverty thoughts attempt to enter your consciousness, immediately counter them with your programmed wealth thoughts. Make this as automatic as brushing your teeth or checking your watch. Your mind must become a fortress where only abundance thoughts are permitted to dwell. Read books about wealth and success until these concepts become familiar friends rather than foreign ideas. Study the lives of prosperous people until their thinking patterns become natural to you. Immerse yourself so completely in wealth consciousness that scarcity thinking feels strange and uncomfortable. This is not a temporary practice or a short-term experiment. This is a lifestyle transformation that continues until wealth consciousness becomes your permanent mental state, until prosperity feels more natural than poverty, until abundance becomes your automatic expectation rather than your impossible dream. Repetition is the final key, because it is the force that makes all other principles permanent. Without repetition, knowledge remains theory. With repetition, knowledge becomes power, and power becomes results that transform your life forever. You are standing at the threshold of a transformation so profound that the person who began listening to these words will not be the same person who integrates them into daily practice. This is not information you have received. This is a new identity you are choosing to inhabit. The wealthy person you are becoming already exists within you, waiting for your recognition, your permission, your unwavering commitment to let them emerge. Every morning you wake, you decide whether to feed the old consciousness that created your current financial reality or nourish the new consciousness that will create your abundant future. Picture water cutting through solid rock. It does not force or struggle. It simply persists, drop by drop, thought by thought, affirmation by affirmation, until the impossible becomes inevitable. Your wealth consciousness is that water. Your old limiting beliefs are that rock. Time and repetition will always favor the water. The principles you have absorbed today are not theories to be understood, but laws to be obeyed. They work not because you believe them, but because they are true whether you believe them or not. Your task is not to make them work. Your task is to align yourself with their operation until their power flows through your life as naturally as electricity flows through a wire. If you feel called to continue this journey of financial awakening, to dive deeper into these timeless principles that have created more millionaires than any other teaching in history, then join this community of individuals who have decided that wealth consciousness is not a luxury but a necessity. The universe is preparing to test your commitment. The old patterns will attempt to reclaim you. The familiar comfort of limitation will whisper seductive lies about why abundance is not meant for you. But you now possess something that can overcome every obstacle. The knowledge that your mind is the only tool you need to create unlimited wealth. What you have learned today is not the end of your education. It is the foundation of your transformation.